Hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Tammy, and I thank you for joining me. And for those that are returning, thank you so much for stopping by again. Um, so I was talking to Canella Sirocco about Teespring and merchandise in general, and she totally reminded me, not that I forgot, but I never mentioned this in my video. I figure if somebody wants to look at the stuff, it's there below for them to see, but maybe some of you don't know it's even there. I have a Teespring store, and in that store, I'm selling items with prints of my artwork on them. So, for example, face masks. I have face masks with an image of my art on it. I'll put it on here for you to see. So this was a bloom that I did. It's not a very vibrant one. I do have a couple of more that are very vibrant. They come in different colors. And yeah, like I said, I have pillows in there and I have a few other things, but I'm going to start adding some more stuff in there. So if you're interested in anything like that, have protect your health with a little art on your face, it's there for you. Okay. I will put the link to the shop in the description of the video, but also know that when you see my videos, right underneath you'll see items with a price tag on them. That is my Teespring store. If you click on one of those items, it will take you right to that website. All right, so let's get started. Hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome back to another video. Today, I am going to show you how I created this amazing Dutch pour. I have never created anything like this ever. I've never gotten this type of reaction. I'm assuming it's because of a few paints, which we will get into in a few minutes, but it was just spectacular, the final result. So let me just say right now, what I'm showing you are two of my favorite blow dryers I use. Normally, I use the little blue one you saw first, which I named Flow. But because this canvas is a 15 by 30, it's big, I need the pathway of the air to be a little bit wider. So I'm using my other blow dryer, which I named Windy. They are both in my Amazon shop. And you can see the paints here that I'm using. I'm going to give you the exact measurements that I used. At the end of this video, I'm going to write 2 recipe cards down. I'm going to give you measurements in teaspoons and also in ounces. Now, this right here, I believe, was the magic in the recipe. I used a bottle of Folk Art Color Shift Silver Flash was the name of the color. It was a silver with a violet shift. And between that, the 24 karat gold that I used, and the Floetrol, you're not going to believe what happened. But again, we'll get to that when it's time. So right now, this was my biggest mistake I made in this whole painting. I used too much base paint. Why? Because normally I don't add my base paint this way. Normally, what I do is I will pour it on the canvas and either blow it all around, or I will tilt it until the canvas is covered. But this time, because I wanted to do a split color Dutch pour, I tried to use that cake frosting spreader, and I did not take off enough paint. It was just way too much paint on the canvas, but in the end, it worked out. So I'm just adding my colors along the lines where the silver flash and the white in the center meet. I used a blue-black color from Altier. I used 24K. I used a purple. I will put all the colors in the description for you. So when you go to blow out a Dutch pour, hold your blow dryer upside down. It's a lot easier. This way you're not aiming down into the paint. You're aiming across the top of the paint and blowing it out. That's what I find works best for me. Now you see, because I have too much base paint, that I lost my color there. But again, this was just a crazy experience that I had. I overworked it, but yeah, it still turned out beautiful. I was just really, really impressed with it. So I'm going to let you watch for a little bit here, watch my struggles, and then I'll come back in. So what's the next logical thing to do when you have too much paint on the canvas? Add more paint. Why not? Do you notice I'm blowing the colors out and the silver just keeps taking over? It kept selling up and selling up and selling up. I cannot wait for you to see the close-up of this one. It looks like a cloud pour. There's pearl cells, there's all kinds of crazy things going on in this. And although it didn't look like a Dutch pour in the end, I was over the moon thrilled with this piece. So you see, I'm just kind of blowing paint out and re-adding more paint. I'm trying to get some of that silver off of the canvas. It was just really gave me a run for my money. So, I highly suggest, if you're using base paint and putting it down with a spatula, make sure it's not thick. You just want the canvas covered enough so that your paint will glide over the surface. You don't want depth on that canvas where paint is concerned, the base paint, I mean. Now, obviously, this is a time-lapse video, but I worked on this piece for a good hour. The upper right corner looked really pretty, but it wasn't solid silver like the other side. So what I'm doing here was I was trying to add in just a little bit of color to give a marbling look to match the other corner, but that was a failure too, so I ended up scraping it off and just putting down some clean silver. And what I've decided to do is, once this painting dries, I'm going to hand paint the background. I'm seeing big butterfly wings in this. When we get to the close-up, you'll see. But I may turn this into something even more magical. And just because you do an acrylic pour, once it's dry, it doesn't have to end there. I've done plenty of second steps I've done mixed media on them. I've done resin over them with some color. Use your imagination. And you have to remember, when I was designing this, I was designing this to be hung on the wall portrait, um, not landscape, the way you're seeing it right now. So looking at it from the other direction, it is really a beautiful painting. So it's almost time for the close-up. I want to thank you guys for joining, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I would truly appreciate it. So here we go. Boy, did that give me a run for my money. But can we just address the elephant in the room? What in the world is going on with these paints? I have never, in 25 years of painting, gotten a reaction like this. Never, 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 ever, ever. Now, the first mistake I made was I went and added way too much base paint. Normally I dump my base paint on the canvas and tilt it around, but because I wanted to do the color split thingy, I had to kind of use a spatula for that. Hey, look at that guy. It's a gecko. I had to use a spatula to spread it out, and I just left too much on the surface. I should have tilted it after I did that. But the elephant in the room is these cells. Look at this. I am absolutely, unequivocally, undeniably in love with this painting. I have to stop it from moving the wrong way. Let me give you guys a little advice if you use metallic paint. You see these lines here in the paint? That is from putting the paint on and letting it swirl around and blowing it around. It's a natural occurrence with a metallic paint. See over here, like it's not so bad. There's one there. You can try to smooth it out so that it just looks smooth like this. It's really, really hard to do though. So just so you know, when you use a metallic paint, that is a possibility that that will happen. But look at this. Look at it. I don't know. It has to be the combination of the 24 karat. I love him. It has to be a combination of the 24 karat gold and this folk art color shift paint. Let me see what the name is. Silver Flash. Wow, my camera really doesn't like that label. Silver Flash. It has to be a combination of those two things along with the Floetrol, of course. This is just such a unique painting. You know what? I don't care if it looks like your typical Dutch pour layout, because guess what? Usually I don't love my art that much. I'm my own worst critic. This is just crazy looking, and I love crazy. Absolutely love it. And to top it off, I have a gecko. I mean, look at him. That is phenomenal. Well, I hope this video helps you. Maybe run out and get some of those paints that I just used and see if you can duplicate it. But yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Be sure to pause the video at the end for the recipe cards. And yeah, I don't even have anything to say. I'm just speechless at this point. So we got to keep it from moving the wrong way here. My table said it was level, but I see it's coming off one side. So I lifted the canvas up a little bit. Hopefully that'll help. I'll keep a close eye on it. And yeah, I was trying to design it to have it on the wall like this, like long ways. I can't get you all the way in the camera. Oh my goodness gracious, great balls of fire. What a dummy I am, I tell you. Anyway, here's your close-up. I love you all. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, share the video, comment below. I was looking forward to doing this color palette. I didn't realize that folk art color would take over like this, but I'll do it again with just white maybe this time, but I just love it. I love it. I love my gecko. All right, my friends, if you're interested in this painting, once it's dry in resin, I will be showing it. Just shoot me an email, artbytammy@yahoo.com. And until the next time, happy pouring. Okay, I'm going to go over this recipe with you quick, but pause the camera or whatever you're watching on, and take a screenshot of this right now. I will also post a screenshot at the end of the video. Okay, so I did this in ounces and tablespoons. So for your base paint, for your big cup of paint, you're going to mix. Now, again, this is going to make a big cup. If you're not doing a big canvas, you're going to have leftovers. Or you can divide it in half and make yourself a smaller cup, all right? So 5 ounces of paint, 10 ounces of Floetrol, 2 ounces of water. I used all medium body paints. What's a medium body paint? Something like a Liquitex, Hobby Lobby's Master Touch, anything in a tube that's not a Golden or Liquitex brand. They sell big tubes, and then they sell little white tubes that are really heavy body. They say on them heavy body. So any brand that's in a tube, Grumbacher, Artist Loft in a tube, that's what you want to try this recipe out on, okay? It also qualifies the Deco Art 24 karat gold as a medium body. These are the measurements I used for that, okay? So, but for the base paint, remember I used Artist Loft Flow White and that Folk Art Color Shift. Now, for my color, so that's in ounces. In tablespoons, here are your measurements, okay? Now, if you go a little under or over, it's fine. But if you can try to mix them up to this just to see, especially if you have Artist Loft White, just to see what the consistency is, then when you mix your other colors, you can, add your water in and you'll know if the measurement's off a little bit that you need to add a little bit more, okay? Now for the colors, I used 0.20 ounces of paint. So 0.2 on a scale, or 0.20, all right? I used 0.40 ounces of Floetrol and 0.45 ounces of water. Now when it comes to tablespoons, it's a little bit tricky because when I convert it, it's telling me you need 0.4 of a tablespoon of paint. So 0.4 is very close to half a tablespoon, all right? 0.8 of Floetrol, it told me, so that would be close to 3/4 of a tablespoon of Floetrol. And then for the water, it said 0.9 for the water, so I put down 1 level tablespoon, just 1 tablespoon of water, but you may need to add a little tiny bit more. But again, if you mix an Artist Loft white to these directions here, or a normal medium body paint, then I'm sorry, not the colors, Artist Loft Flow Acrylic White, then you're going to know from these measurements what it feels like, the thickness, so that if these are a little bit off, you'll know you have to add more water. All right. That's the best way I can think to break it down. Now, if you're using craft paints such as the Deco Art in the small bottles, again, you're going to have to tweak the recipe. If you're using heavy body paints, you're going to have to add more of everything. So this is specifically for medium bodied paints, all right? And the Artist Loft White with a folk art color shift type of paint for the base with the white there. All right, here's your screenshot, and I'll see you in the next one, my friends.